What's going on, guys? Shane D here, your dear friend, doing the part 2 to my series, very, as Donald Trump would say, very unbelievably, tremendously good series that I'm about to do. ASMR Sexy Book Reading Part 2. This is number 2 in the series. If you hear a light fan going on in the background, that's because it's hot as shit here. It's very fucking hot. And it's hard to even stand up straight, quite frankly, with the heat that's going on. It's about 100 degrees. I want to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning in for this. This is a listen to. This is designed to intrigue, titillate, lull to sleep. You know, the ASMR situation is, it's about calming sounds that make you feel really good, scratching on things like that, you know. But me thinking outside the box, which I tend to do, I thought, you know, I like sexy stories. I like sexy short stories. If you tuned in to episode 1, you realize that was a chapter, that was the beginning to a book, Vox, which turns out to be extremely long and monotonous, and I decided, no, fuck that. I'm going to do a new series, ASMR Sexy Book Reading. This is the official one. I'm going to find sexy stories. Short stories meant to lull to sleep, titillate, sexualate. You know, if you feel good inside in your shorts or whatever, that's fine too. But I'm here to calm the soul, as they say. And this story that I have found is by one Kathy Thorn, and it's called Fire Escape. Now, before I begin this story, I must ask you to like this video that you're watching or listening to right now. I'm going to ask you to do that. I'm going to ask you to like it right now. I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel. It's very important to me. If you are into visual arts, you're going to find that I do a series of different videos. I do a vlog which chronicles, you know, my life or things that are going on with me, or fun things that I find on the internet to talk about. And you're also going to find my amazing voice. You're going to find things about, I do songs, karaoke songs, and I take you on a journey that is mesmerizing to you and to me, and when they're finished and I upload them, I'm always amazed at how well they turn out and how wonderful my voice is, and how wonderful I can make you feel inside with my videos. So, without further ado, we're going to do the erotic story, Fire Escape, by Kathy Thorn. Bear with me, as this is my second episode, and I hope you can do that. And we begin. As bland, characterless, motionless office goes, Sara could have been worse. She had long ago learned to tune out the indistinct hum of printers, copiers, coffee machines, percolators, ringing phones, stifled chatter, and it all becomes white noise, almost therapeutic when she allowed herself the time to concentrate on such things. But time was not something Sara had much of anymore. Everything was urgent. Everything had a deadline. The office had become her life, and her life had become the office. Her routine was to wake up Monday, dress, eat, commute, work, return, wash, repeat. She may as well copy Monday and paste it through the week until Sunday, when she could spend her free time preparing to begin all over again. Sara had lost her spark somewhere along the way. As you tend to do, we all kind of feel that from time to time. And she felt it. A vague feeling that she was missing something essential. Every time she left a room, she patted down imaginary pockets, a subconscious bodily tic she had acquired somewhere in the last 2 years, as though she always felt she had forgotten something. That sensation was with her every moment of the day. But it wasn't her keys she had mislaid. I almost said mislaid. It was something far more fundamental than that. Sure, she had her little rebellions, and every now and then she would slip out of a cigarette. Wait a minute, I'm going to do that part again. Sure, she had her little rebellions. Every now and then she would slip out for a cigarette and enjoy its badness. Perhaps once a month she would wear something sexy beneath her charcoal trouser suit. Something only she could know and touch. Her little secrets. Her little mutiny. It was only a little thing, but it made her stand taller, walk bolder, and smile a little more than usual. She needed to protect it, to rebel. Too often would be... What the fuck? She needed to protect it. To rebel too often would be to trample the embers. It would no longer be special. We all need that special something, right? But it was no longer enough. She had stopped counting the months since her last date, let alone her last fling. She wondered what had happened to her. She used to take risks. She used to be spontaneous. She was embarrassed that she had traded it all for a t-shirt, bra, and a competitive wage, right? You get busy with all that shit, you forget about the rest of your life. Selling, working, you forget about it. She wanted more than anything to reconnect with herself, and she knew it would happen. And she knew it wouldn't happen unless she took a risk and made it happen. That's what you do. You take risks in life. Sometimes you're rewarded, sometimes you fail. Right? Sometimes that happens. You gotta jump off the ledge, baby. You gotta jump off the ledge and change something up. Today, though, she did feel special, and she would make it happen whatever the cost. She needed to open up a valve and release the dangerous pressure that she'd allowed to build unchecked. Pardon me. Pardon me again. Oh, here we go. And then there was Mark. Mark was new. Sara had interviewed him for the job and had found herself uncomfortable during it when she realized she was flirting with him. She remembered blushing after she accidentally said, "Oh, really?" when he had mentioned he was flexible in any position. Oh, really? Yeah, she's throwing that out. Why would a guy say that? He's being interviewed for a job. I'm flexible in any position. Oh, really? She has to say, oh, really? At 27, he was 5 years her junior. Smart, clean, arrogant, and intelligent. Ever since the interview, there had been something intangible between them. An awkwardness that belied, is that the word? Belied attraction. Guys, it is getting juiced up here. The mature thing would have been to ignore it. The business thing would have been to ignore it, for sure, Sara. But The mature thing, too. The mature thing would have been to ignore it. Maybe even joke about it. And let it extend no further than a misguided kiss at an office party. But Sara wanted a break from maturity. And Mark was going to provide it. Oh, Sara, so you're the crazy one here. She glanced at Mark from a desk. He was sorting through papers at his own desk. She brought up her instant messenger and began to type. Oh, boy. Sara, Mark, there is an emergency in the office. Sara watched Mark read the message, and his brow ruffled a little in confused alarm. His eyes shot across the office and met hers. He registered to mischievous smile on her face. Oh, okay, so they're like in cubicles or something. So she sends the message, Mark, there is going to be an emergency in the office. And then she watches him from across the room, and him from his cubicle gets a message. What the fuck? What's going on? Mark says, hello, Sara. What is the nature of your emergency? ? Sara replies, very soon there is going to be an announcement. An unannounced fire drill. Very soon there's going to be an unannounced fire drill. Mark says, ... There is? ? Oh. Sara says, yes, everyone is going to leave. Fast. Mark, so the office will be empty? ... Two of us should stay behind to make sure everyone gets out safely. I just promoted you to assistant fire officer. Are you up for the task? Oh, yeah, Mark, say yes. Say yes. Oh, Mark says, there's only one way to find out, baby. Oh, that's great, Mark. You go. This is a perfect situation. I do want to say, though, that is absolutely illegal to do a false fire drill on a building. After 9/11, you want to be pulling... Well, I wanted to have sex with a guy, so I pulled the fire alarm to get everyone out of the building. That's some serious shit. Anyways, Sara stood slowly with a devious smile growing across her face. What the fuck is that word? Oh, okay. I'm going to redo this part. I hope you're enjoying. Sara stood slowly with a devious smile growing across her face, sauntered nonchalantly over to the wall, checked no one was looking, grabbed the lever for the fire alarm, and pulled. The office suddenly became alive with noise as obnoxious alarms began to screech and people began to clamor away from their desks. Everyone out now, demanded Sara over the urgent noise. She stood by the fire escape door, held it open, and pushed her colleagues out one by one, like a paratrooper from a plane. Mark was lost, and before he could leave, she slammed the door closed. It was just her and him in a loud, empty office. Ho-ho! Hey! Sara's she's a dirty gal. She's trying to open up her life and really, she got caught in the 9-to-5 life. But she's committed a major, possibly a felony here for some D, man. She pressed her back against the door and took him by the tie, pulling him to her. And without a word, they kissed hard and urgently. He wrapped one strong hand around the back of her head, gripping her long hair, and pressed his weight into her. That means his penis. He's probably got six-pack abs, this guy. Pressed his weight into her. That's what he's doing over there. The sprinkler system switched on, and they were doused as they kissed, as though the heat between them might cause them to ignite. The cool water poured over them, drowning the fragrance of his aftershave and causing his white shirt to cling to his tall, slim frame. It's always these tall, slim, six-pack ab guys that get these hot office chicks. Jesus Christ. You can't catch a fucking break. Where's the fucking big guy that gets a little love? He's got aftershave on too, for Christ's sake. With one hand, she explored his body, and with the other, she unbuttoned her pants and slid her hands inside. Oh my God, Mark, you are in for a good time, baby. Mark stepped back, still holding her hair, pressing her against the fire escape door, and watched her pleasure herself in anticipation of him. That was my phone. I'm gonna redo that. That threw me off. Mark stepped back, still holding her hair, pressing her against the fire escape door, and watched her pleasure herself in anticipation of him. He listened to her quickening breath and the growing pleasure of her body as the sprinklers drenched them. Oh my God, Mark. You are having a good fucking day at work. We only have 5 minutes, she whispered. We only have 5 minutes. Before the fire brigade arrives, they locked eyes. You need to fuck me. You need to do it right now. Oh, Mark, you are having a good fucking day. She slid her suit pants down and kicked them off. She stood in her heels, dark lace top stockings, shrouding her long, creamy legs. Silk suspenders and a lace thong. Thong, with her hand inside and her shirt and jacket. Oh my God, what the hell's going on here? With her free hand, she quickly undid Mark's belt and zipper and found him hard, thick, and ready. Of course. She pulled it out and stroked it as she stroked herself, and then pulled him to her, lifting her leg to his waist. He held Sara's leg around him and felt her wetness as she guided him inside. It's like a landing strip. Put the plane in there, Mark. She grasped. What? She grasped as he took control and began to push slowly inside, little by little. She wanted all of him immediately. And she wasn't prepared to wait. She began to grind up and down. That's it. That was it. That's pretty nasty, right? She's when you use the word grind, they were grinding. It's like there was sand or something in there. No, she began to grind up and down him, filling herself with him, holding him at the back of his neck for leverage. It's like this Kathy Thorn knows about this kind of stuff. She wrote this story. She's like, yeah, you want to grab the back of the neck for leverage when they're grinding in there. Let's see. Holding him at the back of his head, back of his neck for leverage, and the other hand still pleasuring herself. She's non-stop with that, enjoying the firmness of his grip in her hair. Oh boy. Mark lifted her leg a little higher, so she was on her tiptoes and stroked long, satisfying strokes in and out of her. Sara could feel his strength. He was essentially lifting her off the ground and pressing her into the door like he was going to fuck her through it. Oh my God, Mark. Her legs became weak as a familiar wave of pleasure rolled up her body, and she began to meet his thrusts with her own as she edged closer and closer. The waves of pleasure began to mount and evolve into bodily convulsions that gripped Mark tightly as he entered her, bringing him closer to his own peak. He's gonna do it. Do it till it's right. Do it all night. Do it till it's right. They grips. What? That's a typo error. That's not me. They grips tighten on each other. Sarah's fingernails digging into Mark's neck, and Mark's fist pulling Sarah's head to one side by her hair. Sarah's free hand worked furiously on herself. Oh, she's still working it. Her legs weakening further with every flick of the bean. Flick of her finger. Their faces were both turned up at the ceiling, eyes closed, mouths open, soaking wet and moaning loudly. Oh my God, Sarah, you are good. Finally, Sarah allowed the wave to crash down like a Dave Matthews song. I'm sorry I threw that in there because I thought of Crash Into Me, Babe. Remember that song? Crash Into Me by Dave Matthews. Everyone started hating that guy for some reason. It's like, I hate Dave Matthews. Everyone loved him in the 90s. And then they said, in the 2000s, they're like, fuck Dave Matthews. I never liked that son of a bitch. Okay, anyways. Finally, Sarah allowed the wave to crash down on her, and every muscle seized. Hot convulsions shattering her whole body, breathing obscenities through gritted teeth like, oh, shit on me, Jesus. Mark. The convulsions gripped and massaged Mark. Within her. The convulsions gripped and massaged Mark within her, causing him to lose control, and he released a visceral growl as he climaxed inside her orgasm-racked body. So he orgasmed. She sure as hell orgasmed. She's got an orgasm-racked body. Exhausted, they slump into each other, smiling under the water still cascade over them. The sound of exhausted, they slump into each other's smile. What? Exhausted, they slump into each other, smiling under the water still cascade over them. The sound of the alarms returning as their senses rallied. They pressed their foreheads together and kissed. The fire brigade was arriving. It was time to go. With Sara, there was always a deadline. Well. Well, that's it for Fire Escape. What did you guys think of that? That's a pretty saucy little number. If you guys have any ideas, I would love to know about them. You can put that in the comments below and say, boy, do I have a sexy story for you. The sexier, the better. That's my motto. The sexier, the better. So that's it for episode 2 of ASMR Sexy Book Reading with your dear friend Shane Diablo. I love you guys so much. You know this. If you watch the rest of the videos, you know that I love you. You know that you're a dream of mine. You know that, well, maybe I've had a wet dream about you at some point or another. But I thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will talk to you guys again soon. And I'm coming in for that very special kiss that I always give. Oh.